An event at the University of Maine at Augusta today allowed school students from rural communities the chance to explore essential careers in healthcare.
Colin Gallagher takes us there.
More than 40 students were hosted by the University of Maine at Augusta for a rural workforce medical boot camp. The event serves as an avenue for Oxford County students participating in extension learning opportunity programming to become more invested in essential workforce careers.
Traditional high schools teach a very traditional curriculum, and so there's not a lot of opportunity for students to explore their aspirations. Today is what we call a group ELO, where a group of students are coming that are interested in a particular career. So we're hoping to get them exposure to the University of Maine and the opportunities at the University of Maine, as well as to try something hands-on. They're dressing wounds, or they're doing some patient simulations and trying to get a feel for what that career would look like.
The students are exposed to different medical programs across multiple fields, including nursing, dental work, and mental health and human services, with ambitions of pursuing higher education. This comes at a time when healthcare staffing shortages are affecting communities across the state.
There's a shortage in all areas of healthcare. And what we know is that rural communities often aren't seeing the same opportunities to go on for higher education or to explore outside of their small communities because of the needs that they fill within those communities.
I'm in the CNA program, which is boosting me to go into the medical field where I'll do nursing in college, hopefully, which is my plan for right now. So this is kind of cool because it's nursing related.
I want to go to the University of New England for medical biology and then into their dental program. But after that, I want to specialize in orthodontics.
I am more interested in criminal justice than mental health, but I liked the mental health and what we talked about there, because I know that also will play a part in criminal justice and what I want to study personally.
We know that a lot of Maine kids want to be Maine adults, and so this is an opportunity for them to see a future for themselves in their community in a high-need career like engineering or healthcare or the trades.
Colin Gallagher, WABI News, Augusta.